afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesme 107.1 and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Pressure piles on state security apparatus to apprehend and prosecute traditional priest Bobu Wolomo over alleged marriage to an underage girl over the weekend. Meanwhile, the police service says they have now placed the victim under police protection. Also, pro-tertiary teacher unions call off a 2-week-long strike to pave way for negotiations with government over unfair labor practices and poor working conditions. Later on this program, and as Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark Autism Day, we'll share with you the story of 21-year-old Nanaya, who, despite being diagnosed with autism, is on a journey to break barriers. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, this afternoon, pressure is mounting on the police to arrest and prosecute 63-year-old traditional priest who got married to a 12-year-old girl. The Bobu Wolomo Numo Boteke Lawe, the 33rd, wedded the minor at a ceremony at Nungwa last Saturday. There's been widespread anger after videos of the wedding went viral amid calls from child and human rights activists for the state to intervene. Former Minister for Gender and Social Protection says the state must intervene without further delay.
Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice and the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, which represents the executive arm of our government, to take charge, take responsibility and act to address the situation. What has happened is clearly unlawful and it's a crime. If you look at our 1992 Constitution, look at Article 28, there are comprehensive provisions that protect the child, whether it is an age-old. I come from Nungwa, I come from Jengewe, I know Bobu Ulomo, I know the customs, but once we've gone to Parliament and we've passed a law, all Ghanaians represented by our parliamentarians, we've passed a law, it has been assented to by our president. Right. It is law to all intents and purposes, and we are asking and demanding that the Ministry of Gender and the Ghana Police Service take action. It's been 48 hours, we have not heard anything, and we would want the state apparatus to take action to protect this girl.
You heard that Nanoye Bampo, she is a former gender minister and a gender activist. Well, Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, has since petitioned the police and is urging the service to arrest and prosecute the priest. He contends that the action by the traditional priest constitutes a violation of both local and international laws governing childcare and protection. In a petition, he argued that the marriage is legally invalid since the child is below the age of 18 and lacks the legal capacity to consent.
This practice has been outlawed in our statute books. This is a typical example of what is known as trokoshi, because I am particularly interested in this practice because that was once upon a time a victim of trokoshi. And it was part of the reasons why we have all kind of wild stories growing up and all kinds of deprivations along the line. And so the justification on grounds of culture does not hold water. And so what the man has done is plainly wrong, and he must be told in the face that what he's done is wrong. And we must insist that he is arrested and prosecuted in accordance with our law. Any culture, by any cultural practice, belief, or manifestation that violates the Constitution or any written law be said to have any application in our jurisdiction.
You heard that MP for Madina, Francis Xavier Sosu. And let's take you live to Nungwa, where traditional authorities there are addressing the press on this matter. Sarah Prinkro is there. She joins us live on the line. Sarah, I'm wondering what the officials are saying in the face of the backlash coming after this ceremony.
Beatrice, thank you for having me on the news. Like you rightly said, I'm currently at the palace of the Bobu Ulomo of the Nungwa Traditional Authority here at Nungwa. The first briefing, we understand, was supposed to have started at 11 a.m., but as at now, it's yet to start. Some of the priestesses and the priests are around. They are seated, but we are waiting for the leadership of the Bobu Ulomo, who are coming to represent him, to address the media and tell us the reason why we are meeting here. But before the press briefing will actually start, I have been nosing around and I have been picking some information that this particular dawn that the police had to pick the girl up with the mom and some family members. She has been escorted to school because she's actually writing her final examination, I'm told. So she's been taken to school to write her exam, and she's being lodged at a hotel or a facility close by. So as it stands, the traditional authority is actually trying to clarify the air that even though the girl is below 18 years, she's not the exact age, and the images that is circulating on social media is not her currently. It happens to be from 6 years when she started performing the rites at the shrine. So a lot of people are gathered here, and we are hoping that after the press briefing, we'll understand what exactly they are trying to clarify to the people.
Sarah, let me get what you said clearly. I don't think I got you. Are you saying that this video we saw of the child being married, the traditional authorities are saying it happened years ago and not on Saturday? Is that what you're saying?
No, so the video is correct, but the pictures attached to it with the girl, there are age difference in it. So there are some that she's younger than the current one. So they are trying to clarify. I also understood that she wasn't married. They are trying to explain that she wasn't married to the Bobu Ulomo, but to the Bobu, which is the spirit, the god that she was being performed, the rites were being performed for, and the chief priest was standing in. And that's what I've been picking around, but we are yet to hear from them directly as they address the media. Then we get the report of this particular press briefing, following the fact that a lot of concerns have been raised by some civil society organizations regarding the issue.
Indeed, Sarah, the explanation about she being married to the stool or the gods has been given since this video came up. But you said that you've been in the community. Have you got a sense of how people are feeling generally about this beyond the traditional principle that the authorities probably are going to defend in that press conference?
Rightly so. As I mentioned earlier, I have been in the community since 8 a.m. and you could tell from the picture, anybody who comes around you meet is trying to explain to you what really happened, and it is a miscommunication, misinformation that is happening. So generally, the atmosphere here appears that people are all think and they want to clarify the air. I haven't really met anybody who is really against the tradition or the custom that happened over the weekend.
Thank you very much, Sarah Penkro. They're bringing us updates. So that press conference from the traditional authority within the Nungo area is yet to start. You heard her also giving confirmation that indeed the child and the mother are under police protection. The child was sent to school today. We'll be following the story and be bringing you more as and when they come in. Now, tertiary teacher unions in the country have called off their strike. The move follows an order by an Accra High Court for the teachers to return to the classroom immediately. The unions embarked on an industrial action on March 20 to press home their demand for better conditions of service, among other things. The National Labour Commission declared the strike illegal and directed the teachers to call it off. The Commission subsequently secured an ex parte injunction to compel the unions to end the action. President of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Ken Ali Awuku, at a press conference a while ago, called off the strike while urging the government to commence negotiations without further delay.
The matter went to the Labour Commission, after which the Labour Commission gave a directive for us to call off the strike and go back to the negotiations table. That was last week, Tuesday. The next day, Wednesday, we met the government side. The government side insisted if we do not call off the strike, they aren't going to continue with negotiations. We informed them that we have a procedure through which we must go through to be able to call off the strike. The meeting ended abruptly. Then the next day, Thursday last week, we heard that the Labour Commission is going for an injunction. It was not until this week that we have officially been served with the injunction. As law-abiding citizens and having respect for the courts, we hereby declare the strike that was called on 20th March 2024 called off, and ask all our members and teachers of pre-tertiary education in this country to resume work with immediate effect. We continue to ask the employer, led by the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, to commence negotiations this afternoon, today, April 2nd, 2024.
You heard the Ken Ali Awuku. He is the president of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers. Daniel Opoku is our Labour Affairs correspondent. He is at that press conference. He joins us live now. Daniel, strike has been called off beyond the negotiation that the teacher unions are asking the government to commence, as it were. What else are they demanding?
The MTN number you...
Hello, Daniel. All right, we seem to have lost Daniel Opoku there. He is our Labour Affairs correspondent. And as you might have heard, the teacher unions, pre-tertiary teacher unions, 3 of them have called off their strike after days of embarking on that industrial action over conditions of service. They called it off today. I'm sure you're aware that there was a court injunction on that strike. The NLC declared that strike illegal and asked the teachers to call it off if indeed they wanted to have any sort of negotiation with the government. And it seems the teachers have listened. They've called off that strike and are expecting some reliefs from the government. One of them asking the government to start negotiations as soon as possible. In fact, they are saying this afternoon, as they've called off the strike. So that's what we just played for you. In Accra, we'll be crossing over to other parts of the country just to find out indeed whether other regions have also complied with this press conference that was held in Accra. And let's see whether we can get Daniel on the line. Hello, Daniel, can you hear me? All right, we don't have Daniel on the line. You're still here on the Midday News. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll bring you some more.
Ya diaba adama fo diaba e freezer adama akuafo semanhia adama metimoso ma sore kane no obobo mu ase a adwo frefre nu obi amienu miensa na se nan ate na wotimi diabase adama fo adwena akuafo ho ahu se ye de aduro ba kope e be shifu ye bia high technology akofo freezer ba wenku a eno anto obenya 15 latest no ahwiegum watia no ahwiegum o de basia fu ye bie no basia bio ekoti se obetimo no na mu ye sure se o mention tasie na mu ase na afo na anu a freezer umpa we na apade freezer
basia ebe so do so ama amoni age
omuti na me wasika omuti na me di me nyina du ba bi so mu dum bu adama wo data adama no kua adama you can't resist.
Ubenya Adama West Africa for edwe bi wo baby biara ye ton kra ye ho edwu afi kayo na kenkan enchoya ewo edre ho.
We're still here on the Midday News on 3FM. Thank you for staying. Let's see whether we can hear Daniel Opoku, who is bringing us updates on the teachers calling off their strike. Daniel, if you can hear me, we heard the teachers say that the government should start negotiations as early as this afternoon. What more can you tell us as regards their demands?
Right. So after meeting with government today or by close of this week, that's when they'll be able to report something concrete to their various members across the country. If government fails to do that, then there's a tendency that they may have to resume the strike. And after their meeting with government, they also have to communicate the dictates and the concrete steps that they might have taken to the National Labour Commission. So these are the issues around that the teachers are waiting on government to do. But our understanding is that the Minister of Education has been holding his own press conference, trying to congratulate and commend the teachers for calling off the strike. And going forward, they are likely to meet them so that the teachers will not go back to strike. That will affect academic work. I know that, like you said, they will be having meetings with their reps, but do we know when they will return to the classrooms? Hopefully, they are likely to go back to the classroom tomorrow, because today their argument is that the day is fast spent, and tomorrow morning you have teachers in the various classrooms teaching. And also, they are supposed to commence examinations, and revision work has also begun. All these things will begin concretely and effectively from tomorrow. Thank you very much. Daniel Opoku is our Labour Affairs correspondent. Let's check the update from the Upper East region. Castro Senyola is there for us. Castro, how is it looking like in your region?
Yes, so the strike is still biting hard, except that we understand just some few minutes ago that it has been called off. And so, just like my colleague stated, the day is fast spent, and it appears that it wouldn't be possible for teachers to come to school because they had previously closed the classrooms and left the students to themselves. And so we are hoping to see that change tomorrow when we go around once again to monitor. But for today, schools have closed. Majority of the schools in the Bogasanga municipality that are closed, and students have closed and gone home. All right, thank you very much, Castro Senyola. He's our Upper East regional correspondent. We stay in the northern parts of the country because residents of Salaga in the East Gonja municipality of the Savannah region have besieged the Municipal Police Command's office, demanding the immediate transfer of the divisional commander, ACP Amos Yelisong. The youth cite alleged attrition of police officers, extortion of money from Fulani herdsmen, gross disrespect of traditional authority as some reasons for their demand for his removal from the district. The youth have given a 7-day ultimatum to the IGP for this transfer. Listen.
Mr. ACP Yelson's gross disrespect to the traditional authority. This is reflected in his negative comment about the institution, and yet will over-delay in responding to calls to pick up cases found criminal and thus refer from the palace to the police for criminal prosecution. ACP also has demonstrated gross incompetence and ineptitude in his leadership role. His arrogant and disrespectful demeanor towards both his subordinates and members of the community has created a toxic working environment within the police force. His bad human relation and unapproachable posture has eroded trust and confidence in the police among the populace. Effective collaboration between law enforcement and the community. Moreover, ACP involvement in unprofessional activities such as extortion of Fulbis, that's Fulanis, at the police station, further undermine the integrity of the police force and erode public trust. His preferential treatment of officers who agree to work on his personal farm or house, rather than based on merit or competence, reflects nepotism within the police ranks. On the basis of the above, we are requesting the IGP to move Mr. Amos Okuyelson as our divisional commander out of the municipality within.
You heard some youth of Salaga protesting against a police commander in their area. Christopher Marco is following this story for us. He joins us live. Chris, this is the second time the youth are calling for the transfer of the police commander. Tell us about these allegations the youth are making against this police officer.
So, Beatrice, for the past 6 months, the youth of Salaga have always called for the transfer of the divisional commander, ACP Amos Yelisong, and some of the reasons given are that there is high attrition of police officers because they have indicated that the police command has over 75 police officers, but as we speak, they have been reduced to less than 30, and this worrying because as a result of that, the police are unable to give effective policing within the East Gonja municipality, and for them, it is a threat to the welfare of the people living around this area, especially to the socio-economic activities happening around the area. They also accuse him of taking some money from Fulani headsmen who report cases to the police and making useless of the issues. And so they have realized that he does not want the good of the area, he does not want the development of the area, and for that matter, they are calling for his transfer.
Serious allegations there, but has there been any immediate response from the police service?
Yes, so I contacted the divisional commander, and what he told me was that I should contact the regional commander or the IGP because he was not ready to make any comment or input into the allegations made by the youth.
In the midst of this, though, how would you describe the security situation there? Hopefully, it hasn't affected how people are protected in that community.
Yes, so over the period, there have been surge in kidnapping cases, surge in armed robbery cases in the area. If this is the reasons why there have been these security threats, that is what the youth are saying, that they are fed up with him and that the activity is at stake, and for that matter, he should go. Now, for the generality of the security situation, I must say that truly most of the police officers I contacted that I knew were at post here have all left the district.
Thank you very much, Christopher Marco. He's our Northern Region correspondent. Now, as the country battles energy challenges amid rampant and unannounced power outages, former President John Mahama is this afternoon urging the government to immediately fix the 250-megawatt Mary plant relocated to the Ashanti region to reduce the impact of the power outages. Government in recent times has come under criticism for spending $35 million on relocating the plant, which has taken off the power production. Meeting the business community in Kwahu in the eastern region, John Mahama said that the government must immediately power the plant to reduce the impact.
Better fuel for generating plants, no. I'm say yesika sema say no ama aye den kakra plants back one ho me de buy time na dum so wo ho no aye Ameri plants aban decided say omo de ba Kumasi to stabilize power in the middle belt. Now omo de sa plant no by they've not connected it yet. Into no on quantity me 250 megawatts. Into 250 megawatts a fee generation because enye juma. And as quickly as me affixes our plants, and no running on gas. And if almost me fixing in term now at the another 250 megawatts, a bus system no more, a bema, a dum no, a swatting.
Former President John Mahama there asking the government to do something about the current power outages. In summary, what he said in Tree, we stay on politics because the governing New Patriotic Party has opened nomination for its April 13 parliamentary primary for the vacant Ejiso seat. Over a dozen persons have expressed interest. William Evans Inkum is in the constituency and he's monitoring developments for us. He joins us live on the phone. William, today must be a busy day for the Ejiso constituency. First of all, paint a picture for us how it's looking like in the constituency.
Well, a politically charged environment, the presence of the Ejiso constituency, a party office. I mean, a number of people gone in black, and of course, it is a difficult time for them. But in the midst of that, there is a democratic process that they will have to go through, and that is to elect somebody at least by April 13 to also represent the party in the next by-election. So exactly what we are seeing here, a charged political environment.
We are learning that so far about 10 people have, or is it more than 10, have expressed interest. That's huge. I'm wondering what the constituents are saying.
Well, more than 10, but I can also tell you that within the last couple of days, or let me say 48 hours, the party hierarchy has details certain influential persons within the party to engage these aspirants. So, for instance, yesterday, the former majority leader, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, said he engaged some of the people who have expressed interest, and I can even tell you that the constituency chairman who was supposed to contest this particular election, who was also contesting or eyeing the seat, has withdrawn from the race. We also understand that there are a couple of others who have. But I can speak of the constituency chairman because in his case, the chairman, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, whom to me has also corroborated what the Oseche Mensah-Bonsu said or told us not too long ago. So for the chairman, he has withdrawn. I'm talking about Kofi Ejapong. The others that we understand have also decided to step down. Now, I can confirm that people like Kwesi Nyantakyi is contesting. The current presiding member of the Ejoso Municipal, Hina Mensah, is contesting. The second vice chairman or the constituent chairman of the MPP here, Kwesi Boateng, is also contesting. And then Dr. Evans Gia, a lecturer at Amsterdam. In fact, he is the first person to pick a nomination. He just arrived and walked into the party office to go through the process of picking a nomination. So far, these people, I can confirm that they are contesting. There could be more, but that we are likely to know the other people who will be contesting, who will not be contesting from now till tomorrow.
So, Evans, I want you to hold on because I want us to hear Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, former majority leader, and then I'll come back to you to clarify this information that former MP Kwabena Owusu-Adume is also thinking of contesting. Just hold on for us.
Someone say ko trouble wa juso. Nsebia na ekoso nipa be dum wotwe ne ese moko contest no. Tete mu na ne tie ne ekono. Penifo de ebe me share menza enra. The friend penifo ni bi ba ha. E kasai pa. Afi we ya ose a. Ne wa ka chi minti na de na kora me nyan contest me twe me ho. We say okay. Ene ha ne enfa ma no. Omo bo nipa be 19. Then we had to go behind the curtain. You could see Beatrice Adu. You be say moon. No, say ade no chima ko ni bi so. The frame mo eno mo kasaya no. Minim say china almost mo ko pick forms no. Be hu say na me sente ni bi pie ho.
Former Majority Leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, William Evans Income is still on the line with us. William, can you summarize for us what Ms. Oseche Mensah-Bonsu was saying and give us clarity on this former MP Kwabena Owusu-Adume we are hearing is also thinking of contesting?
Former Majority Leader said he met some people or persons who have expressed interest in contesting the Ejoso seat. That's quite a colossal number, but he was able to talk them down, and now the number has been tuned. They've been able to arrive at 4, but they are still talking just to cut it down further. So they are hoping that beginning today, of course, which opens, with the party has opened nomination, we are going to see these few numbers also contesting for the sole ticket going into the by-election with the dates yet to be set by the Electoral Commission.
And the former MP, what can you briefly tell us in 30 seconds?
Well, so it looks like he's likely to contest an independent candidate, at least from his camp. One of his aides confirmed to me this morning. I personally spoke to him, but he said I should give him some time. But to the party, they are yet to receive an official letter from him that he has severe ties with the party. So I spoke with the first national vice chairman of the party, Mr. Bute, and he is saying that anybody who's a true patriot of the ruling New Patriot Party will not be barred from contesting for the Ejoso seat.
Thank you very much, William Evans Income there, reporting live from the Ashanti region. Now, Kenyan President William Ruto is expected to arrive in Ghana today for a 3-day state visit. During the visit, Kenya and Ghana are set to sign bilateral agreements covering areas of mutual interest, including trade and investment, education and research, public service and capacity building. Presidential Affairs correspondent Nana Kwekwedia joins us live on the line. Nana, has the president arrived yet? I'm talking about Ruto, and if he's been saying anything at all.
Thank you, Beatrice. Yes, Ruto arrived this morning, received by members of the embassy, actually. He was received this morning, but is yet to arrive at the Jubilee House, Beatrice, because we are picking up information that President Akufo-Addo hasn't come to Ghana yet. Remember, he went over the weekend to Senegal, and he was expected to be in yesterday, so he can meet President Ruto today. But we're just understanding that he's yet to arrive. So there might be a slight delay. It could be in the evening, or it could be postponed till tomorrow. But interestingly, relationship between Ghana and Kenya dates back to the 60s, and especially in areas of trade and investment, it's been wonderful because Kenya 2021 exported some 10.3 million into Ghana dollars into Ghana, and Ghana, on the other hand, in March last year announced its plans to boost its business relations with Kenya by tapping into the AFTA initiative and setting up export trade with Kenya. In September 2022, though, Kenya shipped some consignments of locally made batteries to Ghana. So trade between them has been wonderful, let's say.
Thank you very much, Nana Kweku Adu. We'll certainly get in touch with you again to bring us more of that visit by the Kenyan president. That's how we end the news here on 3FM. Thank you very much for joining us. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Coming up next is Business Daily. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you for joining us.
On this frequency, 92.7 3FM.
Hello there, good afternoon. It's time now for Business Daily. Coming up this bulletin, International Monetary Fund, IMF, begins second review of Ghana's $3 billion bailout program. We'll bring you details. Also, Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, criticizes National Petroleum Authority's new pricing guidelines, stating it is not in the interest of the consumer. Plus, Institute for Energy Security, IES, describes ECG's stable power supply claims as misleading amid Ghana's energy crisis. I am Michael Obodu. I bring you details of our top stories and more shortly. Please stay. Well, thank you for staying with us. Straight into our top story, and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has commenced its second review of Ghana's three-year, $3 billion funded support post-COVID-19 program for economic growth. The second review, which began today, is expected to span the next 2 weeks. The following report has the details.
The mission staff from the IMF arrived in the country over the weekend to commence the assessment of Ghana's performance against the program's objectives. During this period, Ghana's adherence to the prescribed program objectives will be scrutinized closely, with a focus on areas such as economic recovery, fiscal management and structural reforms. The outcome of this review will have significant implications for Ghana's economic trajectory and its relationship with international financial institutions. Already, the government has expressed confidence in passing this review of the IMF program, as it is hopeful of meeting all structural targets to unlock the third tranche of IMF cash of $360 million by the end of June. The IMF team will consider the qualitative and quantitative targets after the second tranche facility was released to the country for budgetary support. The IMF mission staff will end on Friday, April 12, 2024, after which they will return to Washington, D.C. with their status report subject to the approval of the IMF board.
Well, so that report was put together by my colleague Bismarck. We move now to the energy sector, as the Institute for Energy Security, IES, has criticized the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, for claiming a stable national power supply despite recent outages. IES argues this misrepresents the situation and highlights inconsistencies in ECG's communication to the public.
The Institute for Energy Security, IES, point.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
The Institute for Energy Security, IES, points out the difference between a stable national grid and a stable power supply, arguing neither currently exists. They criticize the ECG's public relations tactics, calling them misleading and damaging to the company's reputation. Key issues are ECG claims of stability contradict recent outages. ECG receives insufficient power from Gridco to meet customer demand. Gridco's silence on power availability hinders effective load management. The IES is therefore demanding Gridco break its silence and inform ECG of the available power within a specific time frame, allowing for proper load management planning. ECG should concentrate on managing its load based on available power and revenue collection to achieve financial sustainability. Institute for Energy Security is also demanding the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission, PURC, to extend its audits beyond ECG to include Gridco and export sales by the Volta River Authority, VRA. The government should allow ECG to operate freely and collaborate with Gridco to develop a load shedding schedule as Ghanaians expect. Overall, the IES calls for better communication, cooperation and transparency within Ghana's power sector to address the current instability and improve public trust.
Well, so that was a report on a statement from the Institute for Energy Security, IES, on some statements raised by the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. We turn our attention now to the petroleum sector, as the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, has raised serious concerns over the new pricing guidelines for petroleum products issued by the National Petroleum Authority. The NPA, in a letter to industry players, announced that from April 1, 2024, it will set the floor for pricing of petroleum products to prevent any industry player, including oil marketing companies and liquefied petroleum gas marketing firms, from pricing below the value or benchmark. The regulator explained that this is part of the amended pricing guidelines. We have over the phone line joining us now to react to this move by the NPA, Kojo Yaucha. He is a petroleum and conventional energy expert with ACEP. Thank you so much for your time, Kojo. Why do you have concerns with this move by the NPA?
Well, thank you for having me. I mean, we are currently operating what we call a partial deregulation of the petroleum downstream market. And any attempts by the regulator, which is NPA now, to set price controls really contradicts and conflicts with the operations of a deregulated market. It is expected that in a deregulated market, you allow the market forces of demand and supply to set prices in addition to the taxes and levies that the country will impose on petroleum products. So this move really, and the explanation or the rationale for setting the control is that there are certain undercutting going on. I mean, if as a regulator you spot anti-competitive behavior, it is your responsibility to root that behavior out and sanction the players that are involved, and not just set a blanket price control. The role of the regulator in a deregulated market is to ensure that products are available for consumers, to ensure that the products that are available are of quality and of the right standards that does not damage the class of consumers, and also ensure that the taxes and levies that the various OMCs are collecting that have been levied are actually paid. These are the things that the NPA should focus on.
Okay, Kojo, now a quick one. The NPA argues that part of the reason for this move is to ensure that PSPs are able to fully recover their investments in the sector. They also argue that basically the rates that they are putting out will be ex-refinery price plus the levies and taxes. So, of course, if you don't have anything untoward, your prices shouldn't be lower than this rates that they are putting out. That should be difficult to comply with, don't you think?
I don't think it is the place of the NPA to ensure that everybody recovers their costs. These are businesses that are operating based on market conditions. They know where they are sourcing their products from. Once it's a quality product, it is not the NPA's place to say that we don't want you to make losses, so set it at this point. I mean, it doesn't make sense, to be honest.
And a bit about the fact that basically they're just putting out the standard cost build-up, and it just becomes a yardstick to make sure that OMCs are compliant. That's not too much to ask for.
It's not a yardstick. They're expecting everybody to start pricing from that floor. In the past, what we had was indicative prices. So they were indicative that you could price around the prices that they've put out. Now they are asking you that you should not at any point price below what they are asking you to they've put out. I mean, how competitive is that?
But yeah, if you are selling below ex-refinery price plus taxes, then it clearly means that you are doing something untoward. Isn't that what they seek to establish?
No. So if you have identified people that you deem are engaged in anti-competitive behavior, who are selling below ex-ref, right? You should deal with those people. The solution is not to set price controls. That's the point I'm trying to put across.
So you don't think it will be possible to decouple the two, huh?
Yes, it is.
Anyway, thank you very much for your time. That's all time will allow us on today's edition of Business Daily. Thank you so much. That was Kojo Yaoche. He is the policy lead for petroleum and conventional energy at the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, reacting to some regulations introduced by the NPA. That will be all for today's edition of Business Daily. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.